Hi everyone, Carter Krishnair here for the Florida Soccer Report and the Kingfisher on Beyond the 90. Big news, a deal made between Tampa Bay and Miami, keeper swap, as those two teams are both on the outside looking in to the Eastern Conference playoff picture in USL. Bill Hamid goes from Miami to Tampa Bay. Campisi goes from Tampa Bay to Miami. I think it's... Look, both teams are not playing well. Miami is winless in their last 10 matches. Tampa Bay, every time they get a result or they play well in a match and I declare they're back and I say they could storm up the table, the next week just reminds me as to why they are in the position they're in, which as of right now is bottom at the foot of the table in both the Eastern Conference and in the league as a whole. So Bill Hamid is a former U.S. men's national team goalkeeper, is a great keeper. He's had a huge impact on Miami FC's season positively, but has been consistently injured. And the last few months during this 10-match losing run, 10-match winless run, they have not been able to count on him. So the decision was made to move him. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it. I think actually maybe moving him isn't a bad idea. I think moving him to Tampa Bay is a bad idea because you're in direct competition with them and they're your biggest rival. Now, Campisi is a keeper that was horrible at the start of the year for Tampa Bay. Was responsible for the loss in Las Vegas, was responsible for giving up a cheap goal against Miami FC, was responsible for, I think, a mistake in a game against Charleston. He's eventually given way to Ethan Bondre. He also showed some moments where he could be quite good. The Loudon match, which Tampa Bay lost at home 2-1, I think Campisi kept them in that match. The match against Orlando City, believe it or not, when Tampa Bay lost 5-0, I thought Campisi had about as good a match as a keeper who gave up 5 goals can have. I mean, that was just the low point maybe in the 50-year history of the Tampa Bay Rowdy brand, the Tampa Bay Rowdies club. He comes to Miami, he's going to have to compete with Pipe Rodriguez, who is now the incumbent, who played much of last season, has ended up having to play much of this season. Ultimately, does this get either team into the 8th spot? I've been thinking Tampa Bay was going to get there anyway, particularly when Leo Fernandez gets fit again and Forrest Lasso can play 90. So maybe it gives Tampa Bay that extra boost to get them to 7th or 8th. As far as Miami's concerned, Hamid is not reliable in terms of play, so I don't think there's any damage in it. If you move him somewhere else, if you move him to Colorado Springs, if you move him to El Paso, even if you move him to Charleston or some club you're not competing with, right? Move him to North Carolina even. You're not going to catch North Carolina. You're not going to catch Pittsburgh. Not that he's going to start ahead of Eric Dick in Pittsburgh, right? But I'm just giving hypothetical examples. You know, he could start in Charleston, actually. Maybe, if he were fit. But the decision has been made to send him to Tampa Bay. I think that could be ill-fated for Miami. It's not moving him out, it's where you're moving him. In terms of Campisi coming to Miami, let's see. I mean, I thought he was horrible the first month of the season. Just could not believe how poor this guy was and why Tampa Bay would scout a player and sign him and give him the number 1 shirt and the number 1 job based on what I had seen. But the times he played in cup matches after Ethan Bondre claimed the starting job, I've seen it's been a little better. Like that Orlando game, it was a little better. None of the goals were his fault. So maybe it'll help Miami.